Ghana position, Venezuela can ye statement, briefly. Ebisi Omusro say my for Yanon Kotum. Ebisi, this is the position that we have to take as a sovereign country. What's your view on that?
I belong to diplomacy.
Okay.
And I'm very much knowledgeable in diplomacy.
Yes, very learned.
I strongly say Ghana rushed too much.
Ghana rushed.
We rushed.
Wow.
The statement was rushed.
We rushed.
Your repercussions be?
Yet to be known.
Wow.
But we rushed.
We rushed.
Why?
Look, Yen, we have been pro-democracy, pro-independent. Our stand has not changed. Everybody knows. Pro-independence, pro-democracy, against invasion, and then also Ghana is signatory to the UN Article 40, 940 protocols, etc. Ghana has defended and supported a lot of countries in their stand against imperialism and all those kind of things. That is true.
If you've enjoyed this video so far, please do me a huge favour and hit the like button and subscribe. These videos take quite a long time to make, so if you could help me out, I'll love you forever. Thank you all for your support. Now let's get back to this crazy story.
Now, this is the penultimate number and it's number 2. At number 2, I present to you Kweku Afrique. Wow! This guy has a thunderous voice. Like when he speaks, you wanna listen. I've been able to watch a couple of his videos and I sincerely will tell you that he makes great impression in whatever content he's going to present. Thank you so much, Mr. Kweku. Keep up the good work.
So even though I am not a security expert, one thing I know in global politics is that timing can be more dangerous than silence. And when powerful nations clash, every word spoken by smaller countries is examined, recorded, and remembered. And you know the position of Ghana. So Ghana has long been respected for its measured diplomacy, neutrality, and strategic calm on the international stage. But today, a serious question is being raised. Now, Ghana decided to, wave its mouth into America invading Venezuela and even capturing the President Maduro. Ghana is one of the few countries that has issued press release condemning this totally. Now, the bigger question is that, did Ghana speak too fast on the US-Venezuelan situation? Because a number of security experts are already sharing their thoughts. And the person who has, recently added his voice is Farouk Al-Wahab. Now, Farouk Al-Wahab is a diplomatic and investment consultant who spoke openly on Angel TV. Now, according to him, Ghana may have rushed into issuing a statement on a highly sensitive global conflict like this, and that the decision could carry diplomatic and security implications. Now, according to Farouk Al-Wahab, he thinks Ghana rushed because Ghana should have, waited a little for other countries to speak. Because why is it that the UK is quiet, the Germany is quiet? In fact, all the bigger countries are quiet. Even Russia is being diplomatic about the whole situation. Even China. So why will a small country like Ghana rush, especially when recently Ghana has gone to beg the US?
Ghana position, Venezuela can ye statement, briefly. Ebisi Omusro say my for Yanon Kotum. Ebisi, this is the position that we have to take as a sovereign country. What's your view on that?
Well, I belong to diplomacy.
Okay.
And I'm very much knowledgeable in
very
diplomacy.
learned.
I strongly say Ghana rushed too much.
Wow.
We rushed. The statement was rushed.
We rushed.
Your repercussions be?
Yet to be known.
But we rushed.
We rushed.
Why?
Look, Yen, we have been pro-democracy, pro-independent. Our stand has not changed. Everybody knows. Pro-independence, pro-democracy, against invasion. And then also Ghana is signatory to the UN Article 40, 940 protocols, etc. Ghana has defended and supported a lot of countries in their stand against imperialism and all those kind of things. That is true. But you look at the dynamics of events and how the other countries are responding.
Farouk Al-Wahab.
America, or say, why the unilateral decision? In Obama, why what?
Ghana rushed. Wow.
Or call Iraq, or catching Europeans, even the British, or catch the Italians, or catch the Spaniards, or catch the Germans. Or say either you are with us or you are not part of us.
Okay.
And they were able to whip up the NATO to follow them, even against their wish.
Yes.
The story was not different from when they were going to Afghanistan. They forced them to move with them, and they did. Was the story different from America? I'm talking about Afghanistan.
Okay.
When America, together with the NATO, together with your friend is saying Europe, they went to Gaddafi. They went to Libya to take down Gaddafi, subsequently killing him. The Battle of the Seers. Ghana near stand to Wahimfa. Only African colony, only African country. Only at that time, only provided today AU chair, AU building in a Gaddafi sponsor more. Gaddafi was a pivotal role of the new AU, transforming from OAU to AU with President Kufuor, Thabo Mbeki, your friend say Obasanjo, and all that. Festus Mogae and all that. Gaddafi was the one who put in money for that operation.
Okay.
When Gaddafi was on the edge being killed, what was the stand of
Ghana?
What did we say?
Until rushed.
What did we say? The only country, the only person that went there was Joko Zuma of South Africa. And whilst even he was there, he needed support from the African Union. Said, gather up, let us all come and support our brother. They waited until the United States and other countries warned Joko Zuma, said, well, free Krumha, they can protect his interest. In free airspace of Libya. Zuma flight, SAT and normal attack, Echo bomb of Libya, Tripoli airport, say flights almost about 87 aircraft at the same time.
Wow.
What did Ghana say at that time? What was the protest? What do Africa? Media say, America, Ghana, you can't stand anywhere in America.
We can't cry.
You cannot stand anywhere in America. Upepa na wachweni sa.
Hey.
And co create a problem. Listen. Papa I in a list. Odo beka say we try 5 years visa. We try 5 years visa. Obi abeko we a president kwa na ko ba sa kwa kudi live. Ena mo informer yen no anim e kwan ya ba ya. Me pacho wo fine. And Uncle Foye the Esaberry Institute because our man mentioned them, but then we made a letter of some statements via a be officials be me my and American for trigger that anger and no mutuemu. Onwa yakoka kopa acho anasa acho pa bi akoso and no mdema beka ho. Na onwa nya asem onwa akwache Venezuela, United Kingdom on kasa on condemn ye. France on condemn ye. Russia crowd were cautious.
Yeah.
China were Security Council member superpower.
On Kasai. Now Ghana keteketi.
Yet, now we are just about a month ago. Wasakofa countries Roma Baka woman no more visa restrictions. You know, so Wasabe heightened visa restrictions to a visa ban. Country been saying Sierra Leone. Papa Sierra Leone, why America day? Only any problem. And you're rebel. Omni Bianco or the Nabeka home. Ususu Chrono, I listen. The bigger hub of nationals outside, you know, predominantly American no more, followed by the UK, followed by Canada, and then Germany and other parts of the world.
Right.
Now, I want to busuya for visit to Omunyamo. I want to busuya for call. I want no me Papa. Oh, Pepana watch no. President Trump on Kai. The State Department, you know, they will even ignore. But if they are to stick to the actual no, and it was this and it was that. No. Busa say Holland kadeng. Busa say Japan wakadeng. Busa say South Africa wakadeng. You can condemn the word the diplomatic will let peace prevail. Maybe you condemn the actions of United States. And there a diplomatic language you can papa obia can be.
You could remember when, I mean, a lot of countries were banned. Ghana were part of the list that were also, banned from entering the US. Ghana literally had to go and beg and went to the extent of even accepting Nigerian deportees into Ghana before Ghana was taken off that list and the ban was taken off. So, if you had gone to the country to seek all this assistance and the country takes such a diplomatic move, You can decide not to support or even throw your weight behind anybody. But for you to come out to condemn the US is warning that it could have security implications for Ghana. Now, after this statement, in fact, Dr. Vladimir Nchidanso, who is, a director at the Ghana Armed Forces Command and Staff College, he previously was, the senior lecturer at the University of Ghana, Legon, and also a security expert, very renowned on this knowledge. He is also applauding Ghana for taking the stance of condemning the invasion on Venezuela and saying that it was the right thing to do.
Doing that, but this one has no meaning. It defies reason. Unfortunately, this is not unprecedented. This is not the first time the US is doing that, but this one has no meaning. It defies reason. Basically, it is unlawful, illegal, and condemnable. And I think I'm happy that the Ghana government has issued the appropriate statement. There are no extenuating circumstances that can justify America's behavior, this unilateral behavior. So for me, when I heard about it and I saw it on television, I was filled with real anger. Because first and foremost, after the Cold War, the end of the Cold War ushered in a period of some hope that gradually the world was seeing some kind of convergence in the liberal order, where institutions, global institutions, would govern one way or the other through international law and will all behave. Countries will not attack each other, will not undermine each other. Unilateralism will not be what we'll be using, but multilateralist situation would hold sway and the world will be more peaceful. Unfortunately, since the end of the Cold War, American behavior makes them feel that they have won the Cold War and they could do whatever they want. And that is ushering in us into a period of instability. There is a sign on the wall, and the sign is clear: global anarchy. And terrorism is going to be heightened. Global unilateralism is going to be heightened. Geopolitics is going to be the order of the day. And we are going to see more wars if we allow this thing to continue.
Professor, in a situation like this, Ghana has taken a firm stance, but in a situation like this, what should be the stance of the African Union and the government of Ghana? Or are we in the right position?
Exactly what we have done. Condemn it, not support America in any multilateral organization which will be discussing this. I know the UN is going to discuss this soon. And we shouldn't be supporting the US for supporting sake, whatever it is. Number one, no matter how much pride they give us, they do that. So we should condemn it. We should condemn when it means even any other very friendly country which does this, because it's not going to bring global stability. If you watch out, the US was being very selfish, and we must condemn it. They need Venezuelan oil. Venezuela has the largest deposit of oil in the world. They need Venezuela to implode so that Americans will be ruling Venezuela, just like they did Iraq. As soon as Saddam Hussein fell, there was this governor who was put in charge of Iraq, an American governor, and American institutions and American businessmen rushed to exploit Iraq.
Now, this is my take as a social media commentator. I believe that the ongoing tensions between the United States and Venezuela are not ordinary disagreement. In fact, this is a high-stake geographical confrontation involving military power, economic sanctions, global alliances, international law, and strategic influence. And in such situations, even silence is a policy decision. You can decide to be silent, and that is also a policy decision. Now, this is why most neutral countries observe quietly, consult internally, and calculate long-term consequences before speaking. And this is where the concern begins, because according to Farouk Al-Wahab, Ghana's speed is not necessarily the content. And this is why I tend to agree with Farouk Al-Wahab, because listen, Ghana is not a party to the conflict. Ghana has no direct strategic stake, and yet Ghana issued a statement very early. For what? For what? What do you want, Ghana? What do you want? Because one thing you should know is that in international diplomacy, early statement can be interpreted as alignment. You understand? And alignment invites pressure, and pressure reduces policy flexibility. So what does Ghana want? Because listen, global powers do not only ask what you said, they ask why now, who influenced it, what position will you take next? That is what global powers ask. So this small statement may not trigger anything now, but in future, it will be used in taking decisions. Because this is how small countries get pulled into bigger games. And you know, Ghana is a country which has a number of its citizens in America. They visit there. A lot of Ghanaians are schooling. A lot of people are sending money back into Ghana, remittances. So you need to be very careful when you are making such decisions. You need to be very careful. Very careful. And I think Ghana is trading with that. Maybe Ghana wants to go begging again. Because listen, US taking Ghana off the ban list is not for anything. Ghana went to beg. That's the fact. And with what I'm saying, this is not about supporting the US. This is not about supporting Venezuela. But this is about protecting Ghana's neutrality. Because all along, Ghana has been known for being neutral and its position against war. You understand? Ghana's position has always been calm diplomacy, balanced foreign policy, and non-alignment in superpower conflict. Because once a country speaks too early, it becomes predictable, it becomes exposed, and it becomes pressured to explain every next move. And in global security, flexibility and power, and sometimes waiting is the smartest option. As a Ghanaian, this is what I want to say, and I believe that all Ghanaians and Africans in the diaspora, you are also going to add your voice to this. If you are a Ghanaian in America, in US, in Australia, in the diaspora, in Europe, in UK, let's have your voice. What do you think of Ghana's statement?